My fiancé and his family called me a gold digger at our wedding. So I canceled the wedding, revealed my secret wealth, and walked out. Now they're begging, but I'm done. I'm 29, and until a week ago, I thought I was marrying the love of my life. We'd been together for 3 years, and I thought we were solid. He wasn't perfect, but who is? He was funny, charming, and we seemed to have a good thing going. He came from a middle-class family, which I respected, and I thought we were on the same page about most things. But there was something I never told him, or anyone really, outside of a couple of close friends. I come from a wealthy family, and on top of that, I've built my own business that does really, really well. My net worth is more than most people could imagine, but I've always kept it low-key. I wanted someone who loved me for who I am, not what I have. So when we started dating, I didn't make a big deal about money. I lived modestly and didn't flaunt what I had. At first, everything seemed great. He didn't ask too many questions about finances, and I figured he respected my independence. But as time went on, his family started to get comfortable with me in ways that didn't sit right. The first time I noticed something odd was when his parents invited me to dinner. We went to a pretty expensive steakhouse, which was fine. I'm not stingy, and I was happy to go. But when the bill came, suddenly everyone had some excuse. His mom was feeling sick and needed to step outside. His dad forgot his wallet. His sister was suddenly glued to her phone, conveniently not making eye contact. So I paid. I thought, okay, maybe this was just a one-time thing. It wasn't. A few months later, the same thing happened. This time it was his sister's birthday dinner. We went to another fancy place, and when the check came, it was déjà vu. No wallets, no offers to split. I paid again. When I brought it up to my fiancé later, he laughed it off and said, "They probably just assumed you didn't mind. You're generous like that." Generous. Right. Then there was the house situation. I bought my house before I even met him. It's not a mansion, but it's nice and it's mine. After we moved in together, his mom and younger sister started showing up unannounced with paint swatches and furniture catalogs. They were talking about turning my office into a nursery for future grandkids and replacing my living room set with something more family-friendly. I told them politely but firmly that I liked my house the way it was. His mom got this weird look and said, "Well, you don't have to keep reminding us it's your house." I let it go, but it stayed with me. The biggest pre-wedding red flag came from his dad. After hearing about my business, he started giving me advice I didn't ask for. "You should let fiancé help you manage your money," he said once. "Men are better with numbers. You'd feel less stressed if you handed it off." Then he offered to have one of his friends, some accountant, take a look at my books. I told him no, that I already had a team handling everything. He just smirked and said, "Well, you'll see. Marriage is about trust." Looking back, I don't know how I let all of this slide. I think I just wanted it to work. I loved him, and I wanted to believe that things would settle down once we were married. I didn't realize how wrong I was until the wedding day. It started off fine. The ceremony was beautiful, and everything seemed perfect. But then came the reception. During the speeches, his dad stood up to say a few words. At first, it was your typical father of the groom stuff. Then, out of nowhere, he said, "We're so glad fiancé found someone to settle down with, even if she's a bit of a gold digger." The room got so quiet you could hear a pin drop. Then his younger sister piped up, "Well, at least now we know why she's so generous. Welcome to the gravy train." I looked at my fiancé, expecting him to step in and say something, anything, to shut this down. He just laughed along with them like it was all some big joke. I excused myself and went outside. My maid of honor followed me, asking if I was okay. I told her I just needed a minute to think. When I went back inside, I pulled my fiancé aside and said, "What the hell was that? Do they really think I'm only with you for money?" He shrugged and said, "Babe, it's just a joke. Don't take it so seriously." A joke. Right. Something inside me just flipped. I couldn't do it anymore. I couldn't marry someone who thought this was okay, who didn't respect me enough to defend me in front of his family. I walked back into the reception, grabbed the microphone from the DJ and said, "Can I have everyone's attention for a moment?" The room went dead silent. His family looked nervous, and for good reason. "I just want to clear something up," I said. "I am not a gold digger. In fact, I've been very careful not to let money define our relationship. But since it seems to be such a hot topic, let me set the record straight. I own my own business. It's worth over $15 million. The house we live in, I bought it. The vacations, my treat. And this wedding, every single penny came out of my pocket. The looks on their faces were priceless. His mom looked like she was about to faint. His dad was staring at the floor. His sisters were whispering to each other, probably trying to figure out how to spin this. I turned to my fiancé and said, "You and your family have made it very clear what you think of me. And now, I'm making it clear that this wedding is over." I handed him the mic, walked out, and didn't look back. After I left the reception, I went straight to my maid of honor's car, and we drove off. My phone was blowing up with calls and messages, mostly from his family, but also from some of the guests who wanted to know what happened. I ignored them all. That night, I stayed at my best friend's house, and we just talked. She told me she'd always felt something was off about him and his family, but didn't want to overstep. I knew they were pushy, she said, but I didn't realize they were this bad. The next morning, I finally started going through my messages. There were apologies from a few guests who said they were appalled by what his family had done. Some of my relatives were concerned, asking if I was okay. But most of the messages were from him and his family, alternating between excuses, guilt trips, and straight-up insults. His dad's message stood out. "You overreacted and embarrassed us in front of everyone. We were joking. You can't even take a joke. Maybe this was for the best." His older sister wrote, "Wow, way to ruin my brother's life over something petty. You should have just talked to him privately instead of humiliating everyone." And then there was him. "Can we talk? I didn't realize you'd take it so personally. Let's fix this." Fix this? I was done. The following week, they ramped up their efforts to get in touch. His mom even came to my house uninvited. She knocked on the door for a solid 10 minutes before leaving a handwritten note in my mailbox. It said, "Dear me, I'm sorry if you felt offended by what was said at the wedding, but you have to understand that our family jokes like that. We never meant to hurt you. Please reconsider your decision. Fiancé loves you, and we're willing to work on our differences. Family is about compromise, after all." Compromise. Right. They wanted me to compromise my self-respect for their benefit. The next week, I got a call from his dad. I didn't want to answer, but curiosity got the better of me. As soon as I picked up, he launched into what sounded like a prepared speech. "Look," he said, "this has all gotten out of hand. I don't think anyone expected you to react the way you did. I understand you're upset, but you have to think about the big picture here. Marriage isn't about keeping score. It's about building a life together. And sometimes that means letting go of grudges. You don't want to throw away a good man over a misunderstanding." I stayed quiet for a second, then asked, "Is this your idea of an apology?" There was a pause, and then he said, "I'm just saying you both need to be reasonable. And while we're on the topic, I think we should discuss the house. If you're serious about this marriage, you'll need to start thinking of it as a shared asset. Maybe we can look into putting fiancé's name on the deed." I hung up. That was the last straw for me. They weren't sorry for what they said or how they treated me. They were sorry I didn't go along with it. A few days later, my ex showed up at my house. I almost didn't let him in, but I wanted to hear what he had to say. He looked miserable, which, to be honest, gave me a little satisfaction. "Why are you here?" I asked. "I just want to talk," he said. "Can I come in?" I let him in but stayed standing, arms crossed. He started apologizing, saying he didn't realize how hurtful his family had been and that he should have defended me. "I was caught off guard," he said. "I didn't know how to react. But I love you, and I want to make this work." I asked him how he planned to make it work. "Your family clearly doesn't respect me. They see me as some kind of ATM. And you? You laughed along with them." He started stumbling over his words. I wasn't laughing at you. I didn't know what to do. They didn't mean it. They're just old-fashioned." "Old-fashioned?" I repeated. "That's your excuse? They humiliated me in front of everyone we know, and you didn't say a damn thing. If that's your idea of love, I don't want it." He started to get defensive. "So that's it? You're just going to throw everything away? We've been together for 3 years. I shook my head. "You and your family threw it away the moment you decided it was okay to treat me like that. I deserve better." He left after that, but not before throwing one last jab. "Good luck finding someone who'll put up with you." That was a week ago, and I've blocked him and his entire family on everything. Some mutual friends have reached out, saying I was brave for standing up for myself. Others think I overreacted and should have handled it privately. But honestly, I don't regret a thing. This wasn't just about the wedding. It was about years of disrespect and entitlement, and I finally hit my limit. I don't care if they think I'm a gold digger or a villain. I know my worth, and I'm not settling for anything less than someone who respects me. They can beg, they can guilt trip, they can spin whatever story they want. I'm done.